Get fucked.
Well,
Jeez.
no, that's a good thing, isn't it?
What?
Getting fucked.
Well, not the
That's not
way
really
that.
something you wish on somebody angrily.
Not the way that I wish they would be fucked. How about that?
All right, yeah. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Controller. I'm Gladys, and with me as always is Cryptic Panther.
Hey, everybody.
Unfortunately, Fatti is puking his nuts up and will not be able to join us tonight. He'll be here with us for the game of the week later on, but for now it'll just be Panther and I handling the podcast, and we have got a ton of bad news here. Bad news bears all around. Bethesda, certain indie devs, well, really all indie devs on the Steam platform, and Battlefield 5. We got lots of bad news here. Starting us off, Panther, Bethesda is just really fucking shit up. What
Man,
is going on?
I don't know. Between Blizzard, Bethesda, like they're like sort of like they look at EA going, "Hey, you like to fuck over your fans? Ah, hold my beer." Seriously, like this whole Fallout 76 fiasco. I mean, it's sad that Fatty couldn't be here for this because he is the Fallout aficionado and he has been playing Fallout 76. But I know for a
And
fact
enjoying it.
Well, I know for a fact that I retweeted someone making fun of the dumpster fire that Fallout 76 is, and he commented on my retweet saying that even though the game does have some issues, he has been fun playing it, but it's just so much negative that he hasn't played it in almost a week and a half.
From
So
other people?
no, yeah, like just all the shit and just the whole basically ball of bullshit that the game has become, and it is, and it just it's disheartened him enough that he's not been playing it for that much either.
Wow.
So, but yeah, so this is a screenshot that I have, and it's gold. I mean, there's a little more to this. It gets a little bit gnarly, but then it kind of comes back a little bit here. Bethesda is trying to fix things, but how it started out was their $200 collector's edition for Fallout 76 came with a power armor helmet, like a map and like a box and in the picture, like it's all shown in the image, this nice canvas bag and all this stuff. So when the game was shipped, they got this crappy fucking like $2 nylon bag instead of this like nice canvas bag that was supposed to be given in pictured in the advertised image for this $200 collector's edition of the game. Now, I'd
Uh-huh.
personally, there's some collector editions that I wish I could afford to buy, but I just don't have that kind of disposable money to buy them because some of the shit's pretty cool. And I'll admit the power armor helmet looks pretty badass. The bag, not a big deal to me, but I get it. If you're shelling out $200 and the image shows this nice canvas bag that people could put shit in and actually use something, out of instead of just putting it on the shelf to collect dust.
Sure.
So this article, I have to kind of blow the image up a little bit. It's hard to read. It's kind of small, but someone contacted Bethesda about this, the help desk, and it says, I'm trying to think how it's worded here. It says the bag
Right.
included with
Yeah.
the Fallout 76 power armor is not correct. The bag advertised as being a canvas bag, but clearly a much cheaper nylon material doesn't look like the bag in the promotional material for the collector's edition. What are you planning to do about this? Now, the fucking response, I mean, this is Bethesda Gear Help Desk.
I don't know that I've ever seen anything like this.
This is
great.
gold. Hello, we are sorry that you weren't happy with the bag. The bag shown in the media was a prototype that was too expensive to make. We aren't planning to do anything about it. Wow. Wow. There's no in that picture that I'm looking at. There's no mention that some items may not be reflected. There's no asterisks. There's no, nothing listed in this picture that's shown.
No, and it's listed as canvas.
Yeah, canvas.
Canvas West Tech duffel bag.
Yeah. So, and in the picture they show what you get, it just looks like a fucking dollar store nylon bag that you'd throw like, I don't know, dirty clothes in to take on when you're coming back home on vacation. That's what it looks like. I'm like, that is like, okay, maybe it's not the greatest product, but that response is just complete and utter bullshit.
And the ending that we aren't planning on doing anything about it.
Yep. In other words,
And that's the end of the message.
in other words, yep. We don't give a fuck. We don't give a flying fuck. Like,
It was too expensive to make, even though this is a $140 more expensive than the base game.
yep,
Now, obviously, the helmet is going to be the most expensive part of this because of
exactly,
materials and time to make that. But
exactly.
Jesus Christ, a fucking canvas bag. This could be like a gym bag. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like,
exactly. Someone
this
could
isn't expensive to make.
no. I mean, imagine the bag design is not something that's custom, so it's just getting the logo printed on it would be the.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, purchasing, but I mean, they gotta be smart when you make those things. They have to be able to make money, which I can't begrudge anyone to make a profit. I mean, that's what they're in
sure.
business for. But come on, like they fuck their fans over with the fucking game release, then they fuck the fans over because they give them not what they paid for.
Well, they fucked
Again,
the regular fans over,
yeah,
and then they super fucked the super fans.
but it gets a little bit better. Yeah, this is where it really gets good. So Bethesda's like, oh, this isn't been handled very well. We better do something. So like they threw out a fucking, I think it was a Twitter post. I didn't believe where I seen it, but it was on Reddit where I did see this. They're giving everybody that has the collector's edition 500 free in-game atoms. That's the in-game currency as an apology. So 500 atoms is $5 real-world.
Yep.
And 500 atoms apparently to people that have played the game. I mean, I wish, like I said, I wish Fatti was here to say it, but 500 atoms apparently isn't even enough to purchase anything worthwhile cosmetic in the fucking game. Someone said the best, like the lowest tiered thing that's even worthwhile buying is like 900 atoms or something. I think it was. So someone comment on Reddit. And I wish I had saved the comment. There's like, so they rip you off by giving you a shit bag. So then they try to pay you off with these 500 atoms, but the 500 atoms won't buy anything in their fucking microtransaction filled shithole. And it's like, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it was pretty vulgar at times. And then it was like, but you can't, nothing, you can't buy shit with 500 atoms. So then you have to put actual, some of your own real money in to get yourself at least 900 or 1,000 atoms to buy anything. So now you're addicted to microtransactions in a game that doesn't work. And you have a nylon bag to show for it. I was like, this guy should be writing comedy because this guy was gold. I wish I had the comment, but I was busy at the time when I read it. I read it and I didn't have a chance to save it. But fuck, it was funny. Dude ripped him a new one. He made some pretty good comments about it. But there is another caveat to this. About 33 minutes ago, as I was gathering and going through some of the articles to get prepped for the podcast, this article popped up on Kotaku. So this is kind of breaking news. I didn't see it anywhere else. I know there was a tweet posted because Fatti, even though in his sick state, is still trying to communicate with us the best he can, knowing his podcast night. And so Bethesda is sending out replacements for the Fallout 76 nylon trash bags. I love that, Kotaku. That's a Bravo headline.
Yep.
So of all the things Fallout 76 has got wrong, the switcheroo in a collector's edition bag has proven to be one of the most conscientious. And so in an attempt to make it right, Bethesda is now going to send folks a proper canvas bag, presumably like the ones originally advertised, as a replacement for the plastic junk. So, yeah, I mean, they... Oh, man. I just... I can't wrap my head around this. Like the people at Bethesda, man, if they show up at the Game Awards, they're probably going to get booed off stage.
Yes.
I don't think Todd Howard should show his face for like another 7 months.
And like I said, pre-podcast, I had just watched the Angry Joe Fallout 76 review to where he was showing clips of Todd Howard and how during one of the presentations he was saying all these things, and then he would show just clips from the game, and clearly like not at all what was advertised. And I haven't played it because the idea of a fully online Fallout to me just didn't sound very good. I love the RPG aspect of it, the deep story driven nature of those types of games, and this didn't sound like that's what it was going to be. So I wasn't interested and I didn't buy it. So as you've said multiple times now, I wish Fatti was here to tell us what he thinks, but he said he was enjoying it. Even though he agrees with a lot of the things people are saying, he still finds the experience, as bare as it is, to be fun. But yeah, this is just crazy. And to so brazenly come out during presentations and interviews to talk about this game and just lie, dude. We haven't seen this since fucking, as Angry Joe pointed out in his video, since Aliens, Colonial Marines, and No Man's Sky.
Yeah, well, this is the worst reviewed AAA game, and this is the worst reviewed Bethesda title since Rogue Warrior or some game that came out in like 2010. This is before
Yeah.
Bethesda actually had a good development studio kind of really helping them with some of their content, apparently, from a little article, little interview thing I watched earlier. But yeah, like one of the worst. This thing, like I said, is just like a steaming pile. Like this should never have gone.
Well, and
this
we
should
talked
be,
about
this,
it last week, though.
This should be
to where
early
this was-
access.
Yeah.
Fuck, we
Well,
played-
no, it shouldn't. It shouldn't. This is Bethesda. It should not be early access. What
No,
we're
but
in
they
right now,
should've-
the
they
state
should've-
is early access.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is game like fuck. We play Scum and it works fucking better than this.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Jesus, like I know it's not the same game and it's a totally different world and different structure and different engines and that's another thing too. The Bethesda engine is old as fucking hills. So
It's archaic.
yeah,
Yes.
I mean like I give them props for trying something new, but man, they really dropped the fucking ball. And then to go around and just to then fuck over the people that bought the $200 collector edition, it blows me away. That is some like who's the fucking brains behind that? Oh, let's show this nice canvas bag and then let's just send them this fucking we'll go to the dollar store and buy a bunch.
Well, and without notice too, because obviously a decision was made there.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of this guy who gave the response, guy or girl. I mean, we don't know who the help desk person was, but this help desk associate claiming that it was too expensive to make. I mean, I don't even take that claim credibly. That the help desk person would know that's why these were switched out.
Yeah.
But without announcing it to the people and letting them know for buying the collector's edition that, hey, we're actually looking at manufacturing costs and it's a lot more than we estimated. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do this or whatever. Some type of notice could have somewhat cooled down the response to this. But
They could have looked. Yeah, they
it.
could have looked at the amount of money they were expecting to make off the supposed canvas bag, and then refund them the money on their fucking collector's edition. Then,
Sure.
like if they deemed they must have had a dollar value per each item in the fucking thing. They can't just say, oh, we'll slap $200 on this. You know, they'd have to have they'd have to have something. So they know a relative dollar value. They should have been able to refund the people that. They should have given them fair warning to cancel their fucking pre-orders because something has changed. And then they should have given them the option to say, okay, if you still want to keep it, we're going to refund back $22 or $12 or whatever the fucking value of the canvas bag is to them. Then the people would have been, it wouldn't have been such a kick in the balls to anyone that bought it. Like, it's just bullshit. Like, this is some sick shit, man. Like, Bethesda can lick a taint of a fucking angry bull. Yeah, I like I said, I don't play the game, and I'm so glad I don't, because I would be fucking my fucking response to them through Twitter, I'd be banned from fucking, they'd block me instantly. I would not be at all kind to them if I was one of these.
Surprised that we haven't seen some brave soul out there fill this nylon bag with shit and send it back to them.
Fuck, it could be in transit right now. We just give the idea of the year. Right to Todd Howard. There you go.
This is just awful. And from Bethesda, this stings even more because they're such a beloved studio, despite how buggy their games always are, because they just insist on using the same engine every time, and they still don't know how to use their fucking engine. It's just crazy that this is happening right now.
It is
unbelievable. so stupid, so unbelievably easy to prevent, and still nothing was done about it.
Yeah. And
so, like, fucking Murphy's Law is that there's never time to do it right, but there's always time to do it over. And that's where we're at right now.
Shit.
Fucking awful.
So let's keep this pain train rolling.
Sure. Okay. So Fallout 76, as everybody probably knows, is fully online. Despite claims of not seeing any type of server or anything like that, there's been plenty of evidence of people saying that the server is disconnecting them, that it's timing out, that it's laggy, whatever. So now with a new update, it's actually going live tomorrow as of this recording. December 4th, this update will go live. This patch will include a feature that actually will kick people off of the server if they're AFK for 10 minutes.
Yeah. So
10 minutes.
Yep. So if you happen to, like, I mean, you and we'll use Fatty as an example because he plays the game. He has a small child. What if he has to go help his girlfriend with his baby, or the baby's upset and he needs to go and help with the baby? What if someone needs to go take a shit? And sometimes you can take a little time. What if you got to, what if you're in the middle of something, you have to go take your mom, help you get your mom, your mom needs help taking the groceries, some shit in. So you jump off your game and you go and help, blah blah blah. 11 minutes later, you get back. Oh, the fucking game kicked me out. Like, that is some bullshit. I know they're trying to mitigate people from just idling in the server because I don't know if you can gain experience from doing like some idle shit. I don't know what their point behind it is. I didn't read this article all the way through, but it's like, Jesus Christ, 10 minutes is pretty quick to be kicking idle players.
Yes.
And it's not, because it's not like a first person combat style. It's not like, you're not playing fucking Battlefield or Call of Duty. This is like an RPG online game, so you should be able to play it at your leisure. And if you want to take a break, just go take your shit, get a coffee, whatever you want to do. Go, rip one out in the back corner, whatever you want to do. But 10 minutes is a little ridiculous.
It's a lot of ridiculous because, I mean, obviously you're there to play a game. You're gonna be playing it, but again, stuff happens, or you get a phone call, like you said, you want to go get a drink, food, what have you. With a persistent online game like this, as far as I'm aware, no progress can be made if you're not doing anything, though, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think that. I don't think there's any way, unless, like I said, unless there is a way people found to idle and have something,
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, okay, so idling, if this is to prevent that from people going idle, what are they getting from going idle? Like, who are they stopping from taking some kind of advantage from doing this? Because going idle for more than 10 minutes in a game like any MMO or anything like that, where it's an online and interactive and you play with other people, you have quests and whatnot, you have to actually do something in order to level up. There's no like just accumulating experience or money or anything for standing there. So why is there a 10-minute? Like, who?
And it's funny. I'm I don't want to interrupt you, but I'm reading through the article and it says here, and it's funny too. They say the same thing we do. Like, player need to take breaks without losing the fruits of their labor, and while 10 minutes is enough time to use the bathroom or grab a snack, it's a pretty small window.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it says a warning will appear with 1 minute remaining, and at least it assumes players will be able to clearly simulate keyboard or mouse activity if they're going to be gone for more than 10 minutes. But after the patch, I wouldn't stray too far from your desk. In other words, yeah, because if you get kicked, you lose what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, that is some fucked up shit, Bethesda. Like, you just can't do nothing right. Who the fuck is running this fucking show?
Todd Howard.
Jesus Christ. I thought the dude was smart, but I think he's lost his fucking mind.
Well, he's pulling a Sean Murray.
Worse. Really?
It's just everything that can go wrong. Like, apparently the game doesn't work. It's more riddled with bugs than any other release that we've seen. It's a worse reviewed title. They're fucking over collector's editions that pay over 3 times the amount of the actual game itself. Kicking people, I guess, for what seems like no reason now. Just everything is wrong with this game. From what I'm seeing and hearing. That's it.
Well, there was something mentioned the other day, and I can't remember who mentioned it. Someone did. It must have been playing online with somebody, and they said something about someone's already they've already hacked the game and they're launching nukes.
Well, the new codes were released. Yeah, that was one thing Angry Joe pointed out in his video, actually. So on Reddit, people posted what the new codes were. Now, in the game, you're searching for the codes, I guess. From what I'm understanding from his video, is that you have to search and find these new codes. So it's supposed to take effort and time and be like a thing that you have to dedicate yourself to. to eventually find it to drop a nuke, because a nuke is a big deal, right? So somebody posted the codes on Reddit and then figured out that the codes don't change.
Jesus Christ.
So you just keep putting in the same codes.
Oh my God.
Now, I may need somebody to respond and say, no, they patched this out or whatever, but I watched Angry Joe's video today, and that's what he had said. I don't even know when his video review went up, but, I mean, that's got to be recent. So I don't know that this is still going on, but that was at least going on prior to this recording.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. But, yeah. That's the little information I have on that. It's just wild, dude. This is the worst roller coaster for Fallout fans. It just keeps getting worse.
The only redeeming thing that Bethesda has done is they're the collected edition people now getting a canvas bag. That's
now they're actually getting what they paid for.
Yeah, who? And they get to keep that nylon bag. I wonder who. Fuck.
Would it not be a bigger slap in the face if they had to send it back, though?
Would
that be even worse?
If you want your canvas bag, send us a nylon bag, but you have to pay the shipping.
just We're taking a loss on this, so we want the nylon bags back.
Yeah, just shove that fucking battery acid covered baseball bat a little further up your arse, I guess. Jesus Christ, Bethesda, get fucked.
God.
Oh man, this is
all right. So let's move on to another favorite of ours to kick around. Let's talk about Nintendo.
Yeah, but we're not kicking them around.
For once, yeah, we're gonna bring them up a little.
Yeah,
bit.
This is something that I've mentioned in previous podcasts. It hasn't been very recent, but I have mentioned it, and I've talked about it with some other people before. But it appears Nintendo will no longer be trying to shake money out of streamers and video creators. The company has announced that they are changing their policy on what is and is not acceptable use of games on various media platforms like YouTube, Facebook. You can read the full list of changes along the Q&A section. So there's a big section. I'm not going to dig down deep into it, but I know another thing. I wish Fatti was here because he is actually, I don't know if he still is, but at one time he was an affiliate, so he could put up Nintendo videos on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Because they wanted 90% of any money you made. So not only my channel was monetized at one time, but I don't meet the requirements to have mine monetized through YouTube. But I was under an MCN at one time, where any money I made, it was like I got 70 and they got 30%, which they had I had access to like music to use, and I had a bunch of stuff I could use that they give me services for. I made very, very, very little money off my YouTube when I was monetized. I scored a couple videos that had some decent views, but I never made any money to speak of. So, my NCN, they changed their policy. You have to have, it was kind of the same thing YouTube ended up doing. You weren't big enough, they didn't want you. So I'm like, well, fine, fuck you too. So YouTube, I said Nintendo earlier, I'm sorry. YouTube, what they would do, then you could do their AdSense, and you could be partnered kind of under YouTube, where they took a small percentage, but you could monetize your videos. I think it was very small they took back, but you could still monetize your videos. So if someone if I had a video go viral and it was monetized, I could make some money off it through AdSense. They changed their policies. So they wiped that out. If you're not big enough, you can't monetize even through YouTube anymore. But Nintendo, they went a step further, and they said if you want to upload any of our video content, you have to sign up under their partnership program, and any money you make off a Nintendo video, they get 90% of the fucking revenue.
Yep.
Nintendo are a bunch of fucking assholes. I couldn't believe that when I was hearing this, because people were trying to upload Nintendo videos and they were getting fucking copyrighted striked, and shit was they're getting pulled, and people were getting actual strikes against them and not just copyright warnings. I get those if you upload too much of a music in a song in a video. They'll say, oh, you're not in trouble, but any monetization is going to go to the copyright owner, which who cares? But yeah, people were getting copyright strikes from Nintendo, actual full-on strikes on their account, because they wanted all that revenue for themselves. That's how money grubbing they are. I mean, I don't know why people praise Nintendo as much as they do. They must not read anything negative for Nintendo, I guess, or listen to this podcast. But now they have finally smartened up, So you may monetize your videos and channels using the monetization methods separately specified by Nintendo. So these are these include the ones that below. And they list them like Facebook Gaming, Twitch, YouTube, and using Twitter and everything else. So you can post YouTube videos or videos of Nintendo now without having to be in their partnership program and losing 90% of any potential revenue to them. So, like, I don't understand the business prospect of it to start with. I can see them wanting to start their own affiliate program and maybe, wanting to be like an MCN so that people that are putting out Nintendo content are kind of under an umbrella so that they kind of make sure they're not, kind of destroying the brand in any way. But Jesus, asking for 90% of any potential revenue is ridiculous.
Yep.
Like, that always blew me away, and that's why I've never. I mean, I thought, oh great, I said a Nintendo, like some of those Nintendo games, the old school ones, like on one of the old school consoles, they're kind of fun to play, right? So I was thinking, shit, if I get one of those, I can play some of the old Nintendo games, put them on YouTube, and it's like, nah, dude, you're not allowed. It's like, fucking Jesus, like they just need to make money they need to squeeze that last little cent out of everyone's fucking pocket, like, make me sick. But I guess stop hating on them. I guess this is supposed to be a positive article.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Positive. So they finally loosened their stranglehold on potential revenue. So you may see more Nintendo content flooding YouTube and Twitch, which maybe not be a good thing.
No. Positive.
Positive. Yes. Positive. I'm just kidding. I think this is great. So it gives the ability for somebody that didn't want to get in the affiliate program with them because they didn't want to have to do all that work and only potentially make 10% of the revenues. So it definitely opens up for some content creators and stuff to actually showcase some Nintendo stuff and actually be able to make a living off it potentially. So yeah, it's good news. Finally. From Nintendo.
Yeah. Also some more good news. We're moving on here because I don't really have anything else to add to that. Rockstar, with Red Dead Online, which is now officially out for all owners of the game. They released the beta in several stages based on what version of the game you got, when you got it, when you played it. But it is now open to everybody as of this recording. Rockstar released a statement basically just saying thanks to everybody that played. They appreciate help in testing the game during the beta phase. Feedback is instrumental in formulating updates, and right now they're focusing on in-game economy, talking about additional balancing that'll be done with that, and some bugs as well. So they really just say, it's a lot of help that the community has been giving, so much feedback that so many people are interested in the online mode, and that basically we're all trying to test it for them, which is pretty much exactly what a beta should be doing.
Right.
Now, it doesn't really feel even that much like a beta to me. And I only played very, very little. I got just enough into the free roam, but even so, I mean, it's functional. It looks like the single player. The map is completely open. There's game modes that I saw listed on the map that I could go and start a queue up. So there's stuff to do. It's not barren. Panther, you've got more time in it than I do. How are you feeling about it so far?
So I was lucky enough to be off on Tuesday when it released, and I do have the Ultimate Edition, so I was one of the first few to get online, and so I mean that's the first kind of the prologue thing where it goes through the first part. It's actually got a story to it, like it has a story driven aspect to the online, which is kind of neat.
Yep.
The free roam is what I expected. Just everybody shoots everybody. I kind of got frustrated, and I'll admit I rage quit because I'm like, why? Like this is bullshit. Like this is what I don't want. I don't want an online experience that every time I meet a random person in the world, the first thing they fucking do is shoot you in the face. I hated GTA Online for that because I mean it's even worse because everyone had fucking rocket launchers and flying cars and you know. But I mean, it's just that's not what I want on an experience. And I mean, people on Reddit were like, "Well, then just play single player." I was like, "Well, I can't do online challenges and play with my friends in single player, you fucking dumbass." Like, come on. I want to go online. I want to play the content I paid for. You know, I want to experience. I want to play it, and I was expecting some, but it was just fucking bedlam. Like there was a group. It was just gunfire nonstop. The second I finished my first solo online little game thing, I had to deliver some mail. As soon as I finished it, I stand on the side of the road. A guy rode up and shot me right in the face. I didn't have a fucking gun drawn. He just walked up. He just rode up on his horse and shot me. I'm like, well, welcome to online, I guess. Um, but then I had a lot of time to play it. So my week was a bit of a mess last week. So I actually got on and played some with Fatti the other day. And I got an epic story to tell you. But first off, we need to kind of back up a little bit. Rockstar really like expected people either to shell out a shitload of money in their shark card world, or expected people to play this exclusively online forever because the grinding to get any money is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The cost of like some cosmetics, the cost of like some of the weapons are just ridiculous. And I mean, yes, they addressed it in the statement, and they've been getting a lot of backlash for it. That's pretty much the first thing people were shitting on. People are saying there's nothing to do in the online, but there's like side missions, there's stranger missions, there's story based stuff to do. I haven't, like I said, spent a lot of time in the online world either because my last week was busy as shit for me, and we had a storm and lost power for fucking near a whole day and everything else here. So, but the other night, the other day, me and Fatti get on and we played some online. So the first thing we once we got hooked up in a posse, first thing mission we tried, it failed. It didn't give us the next mission to continue. It wouldn't let us actually start the little side mission we chose. So Fatti had to quit the game and come back to get us out of it because there was no quit option. So they definitely need a quit option in a mission, if in other words, because we get in it, we couldn't get out of it. We couldn't get out of this mission. It said we couldn't activate fast travel and stuff like that because the game said we were in a mission, but we had no objective. So it was a little fucked up. Fatti said it happened to him a couple times. So it's a beta, and it's even online. Even if it was full release, that kind of shit's gonna happen in an online game. It's it's not perfect. So we went and we rode around, and the fact that you can go into cinematic mode in online, I thought was really cool. Like, I mean, he had to go help. He actually, speaking of going AFK, he had to go watch his little fellow there for a few minutes while we were gaming. So he jumped on the back of my horse because you can ride two on a horse in online.
Oh, you can ride bitch.
Yeah. So he was riding bitch on my horse, and so he whistled for his horse, and he laughed. So I just rode to one of the stranger missions out in the world. So, in other words, I just went in cinematic mode because it's just like the single player. It's pretty neat experience. So, we tried to do a side mission and it wasn't active or whatever. So, anyways, we'll get to this amazing story. So, we killed a couple cows to get the hides so we could go sell them, and we also found some donkeys, the little donkeys. So we each had a donkey. We put the cow hide on the back of each on the back of one of our horses, and we headed off into Valentine. So here we are riding like studs on these little donkeys. We ride into Valentine, and we're selling off the shit at the butcher to get some cash. So I'm standing there, and a guy rides up on this horse. Another player rides up on this horse between my horse and the butcher. I'm done selling my cow hide. I go to get on my horse. And triangle is to get on your horse. Well, triangle is also to pull someone off their horse.
Oh, shit.
So I was looking at my horse. I press triangle. I turn around, pull Buddy right off his horse. I run away. So, because I don't have in-game chat turned on because you just don't know what some people are going to say. And I was and I had been live streaming, so I didn't go back into my settings and turn it on because I'd stopped live streaming at this point. So I pulled him off his horse. I fucking run away and like back away from the dude, like to show him I wasn't trying to steal his horse or anything. So he starts walking towards me, and I'm backing up, like, dude, I'm not trying to fight. I don't want to kill you. I'm not trying to start shit. He pulls his bandana up, and I'm like, oh shit. And he tackles me to the ground. Fatti aces him in the back of the head. Dude's out cold, dead on the ground. And so it's like, all right, perfect. This is gonna be good. And all fucking hell broke loose in Valentine.
Oh no.
Another guy shows up, they could have been posse, which I did find out later on they were posse together. He shows up and kills Fatti. So I kill him. The first guy Fatti killed shows back up and kills me and kills Fatti. Then we kill him and we kill the other guy. And yeah, this goes on and just fucking bedlam. NPCs are running and screaming. The fucking law is showing up. There's gunfire. There's dead bodies flying everywhere. So it kind of calmed down for a minute or two. So Fatti goes, I'm going to start a bar fight. So I run into the bar behind him, and I just do the first NPC I see. I just start throwing fucking haymakers, and I'm just like left and right, and I'm smashing the shit out of people. Fatty's on the other side of the bar. He's kicking the shit out of people. So then the NPCs start pulling guns because we're kicking their asses. So we're knocking guns out of their hands. There's gunfire going off. There's people screaming. There's NPCs running for their lives. Then I go upstairs. I tackled a lady by mistake. That I punched her in the face. I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not live streaming this. I hog tie someone, try to throw them off the balcony. Another real world player shows up and stabs me to death while I'm in the animation of throwing them off the bar. God. So Fatti kills them. We're back outside. We're getting this gunfight with these two other guys again. Now there's this third person. So there's like 5 or 6 of us in Valentine just shooting the shit out of the fucking town and killing everybody. All of a sudden, dude's got a fucking shotgun, and it's a one-hit kill. And he's like, smokes me. I'm like, where did he get a shotgun? Like, how long has this guy played the game to afford a shotgun? So anyways, this went on for quite a while. Like, he killed me quite a few times, but I killed him, Fatty. It was just fucking bedlam. It was nuts. It was a riot. So then, Fatty had to leave, and I'm getting ready to jump off anyways because I was about to go get something to eat. So I'm like, all right. So he left. So I'm just like kind of running around. So I said, I'm going to go to the gunsmith and see what shit costs. So I'm loading through, and like some of the handguns, like even the shitty, like the low level handguns were fucking expensive. So I'm getting, all of a sudden they see pump action shotgun was free. Ooh. I'm like, oh, is that because I have the ultimate edition, or is it free for everybody? So I take that, I load the fucking thing up with ammo. I go outside, I walk it up the stairs to the saloon, and Mr. Buddy comes walking out, and I shot him square in the fucking face with my shotgun. and I'm like, who's got the shotgun now, bitch? It was complete and utter lunacy. It was amazing. I wish I had been live streaming it. I didn't even record it. It was one of those sessions of gaming that I'll probably remember for quite a while. It was just that nuts.
Well, it sounds like the real, barn burner type of situation that we anticipated would happen in the towns in Red Dead Online.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's. I said the first day I played it, I was wanting to kind of experience the online world. I wasn't wanting to fight people. I didn't want to get into this, everybody to shoot you, everyone that sees you shoot you world. I didn't want to engage in that. I wanted to experience the online world. So it pissed me off that that's all the people wanted to do was just shoot everybody. So, but now, like I said, I've seen some people walking around the town where everybody wasn't shooting everybody. Not everybody's going to play like that. So, like I said, I was kind of against the online. I was like, man, this sucks. Unless they have friends only servers, I'm never going to play this. But after what I went through the other day, I definitely don't care. I will jump on and go into a complete and utter fucking gunfight. Just complete and utter chaotic mess anytime anyone wants to now. It was too much fun.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hopefully they can just get a grip on the currency and in-game economy, because they shouldn't put everything out of reach like that. I think what they should probably do is, if they want to penalize you for playing like that, or, just kind of keep things to where they're slightly expensive, you've actually got to slightly work for them, that's fine. But do you think maybe an option would be to not have the guns stay with you, or do you just die too often?
You die pretty easy in this, but there's no penalty to dying though. Like, they can't steal your shit. So I mean, if they can't, you can only loot NPCs. You can't loot.
Well, because I was thinking we can pick up the guns that NPCs had equipped in single player.
You can't do that.
It drops to the ground next to them. No. Okay, so that's what I was thinking. Maybe what if that could happen? Do you think that'd be an option?
That'd be something like, if you, in other words, you can pick up a gun from an NPC use it, but then when you leave online, you can't keep it. That'd be something they could add. That way, some people can try other weapons. Like you
Yeah.
get a chance to go, okay, I know this guy always carries a shotgun, so I want to try it. So you just go murder the guy, take his gun. You can fuck around with it online for a while. Then when you leave, you don't keep it. That'd be something they could add. But yeah, I mean, the economy just needs to be made so that the person doesn't have to go, all right, I want this shotgun, so I got to go, all right, so I don't need to book 3 days off of work. I need to tell my wife to go visit her mother for the 3 days. I need not to eat, so I don't need to shit for those 3 days. And I can grind from sun up to sundown. I will pop no dos, drink Red Bull, and I can afford that one shotgun. So like that's the problem. It's a complete or let me get a second job so I can afford shark cards to buy in-game currency. They definitely need to fix it. Like I said, I knew Rockstar was going to make this a monetization hell.
That was our fear. Yeah.
And it is. But I mean, you don't have to buy everything. You don't have to spend that money. You don't have to customize every weapon you buy. There's you can't fall into that of, oh, I have to this, I have to that. And that's the people that are going to either grind to death or they're going to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to play with my friends. I just want to think of crazy shit to try and do it. That's what I want to do online. So, yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to spending some time online with my friends and just general just fuckery. I think that's what it's good for.
Yeah, and once they really flesh it out too, once we get out of the beta stage, they add more things to do, more stuff to interact with, more modes. I think it's obviously only going to get better.
And there's a battle royale mode that I definitely want to get more information on.
Yeah, is it currently active?
I do believe so. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to try any of it out, but yeah, it's like you only have one of them. You have one mode. I think you only have bow and arrow and a knife, maybe, or just a knife. Like yeah, it's apparently like a really slow paced and intense version of like a battle royale.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I'm looking to get more info on it. If anyone has any info or any cool articles that we should read, definitely drop it in the comments or hit us up on Twitter with it, because I definitely like to read some stuff if anyone's got any info.
Sure.
I just haven't had a chance to dig into it yet.
All right, moving on here. So, kind of funny games. Panther, they've got a lot of titles they're going to be featuring, huh?
Yeah. If anyone does follow the Greg Miller and the rest of the team over Kind of Funny, they stepped up when PSX was canceled this year. They're like, fuck it, let's do our own showcase. Yep. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this because Greg always seems to know what he's doing. He's got his finger on the pulse of the gaming world, so to speak. So I'm interested in what's going to happen. But yeah, they are looking to feature over 60 titles. So
yeah, that's a lot.
The Kind of Funny Game Showcase on December 8th will feature over 60 games from developers big and small, including Sega, Humble Bundle, Drinkbox Studios, Devolver Digital, Kit Fox Games. I don't think I've ever heard of them. There's a bunch of other ones listed here. A couple I haven't really ever heard of, but I mean, a lot of them could be small developers or new studios. So nearly half a dozen titles will be released during the digital conference, which is sponsor free and will run for over an hour in length. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I want to see what they do with this. Like I said, PSX, I liked it, and I mentioned it before, was because they might have showed some games, but they also had the developers out and the people making the games and some of the voice actors out. They've done interviews, and I like that stuff. I don't know if the rest of you guys do, but I enjoy watching those because it's interesting to hear their perspective on gaming, their development process, and like the voice actors and their interactions with the studios and the fans. Like that shit entertains me. I could watch that all day. So I'm hoping we get some of that as well. But yeah, I'm looking to see what they're gonna do. Maybe if this is as big as they are hoping, it'll be maybe a yearly event. And it's December 8th, which is a Saturday. And thank you, it is at 10 a.m. Pacific. Thank you very fucking much for not having it
late
at like 9:30, Pacific, which is a 4-hour time difference for me. So 10 o'clock in the morning is a perfect time because that's early afternoon for me. That'll work great on a Saturday. I should have no problem watching it live.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I don't know how much they're gonna get from the developers and interviews and all that stuff, because it's 60 games,
Right.
but it says it. The only thing it says about the duration of the event is that it will run for over an hour in length.
Right.
So I don't think it's gonna be several hours. I think it's
No.
just probably bookended at like an hour and a half or so. But even so, with 60 games, I mean it's gonna be quick. I think.
Well, some of the games could just be, quick. Oh, here's this game that's we're working on. Like, it could be a lot of short stuff. Like, Devolver could come out and talk about 4 games they're developing. That's for right quick. I mean, it's hard to say the format, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm hoping there's
Well, it's
some
going to be
interviews.
very interesting how they handle
Yeah,
this.
I'm just kind of hoping it was, there's gonna be some interviews. I'm hoping we're gonna get some. Like, I don't expect the whole show of it, but yeah, anything is better than nothing, I guess. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they're doing. Like they say, the Game Awards are going to throw out a lot of the heavy hitters, but then it gives the kind of funny showcase to showcase some of the smaller companies and some of the other games that may not be able to get themselves on that platform. So yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. Definitely going to be an interesting couple of days, this week for gaming news.
Yeah, and with the Game Awards and the showcase here to cover, it's going to be a lot.
And you're not
But
going to
yeah,
be here for any of it.
I'm not going to be here. Yeah, I was going to announce it at the end. Spoiler alert: Papa Gladys is taking a vacation. Much needed.
Well deserved. Well deserved as well.
Thank you. So I'll be gone for a week. I won't be here for the podcast or the game of the week, but I think he said you guys might try to go ahead and push on.
It depends on scheduling and stuff and how things go work out between. We'll try our best to get if we can't get the podcast and game of the week, we'll try to hopefully at least get one of them out. Or you never know, we'll find something. I'll throw something up the channel.
It will be some life from us.
Yeah, there'll be something.
Something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on here. Back to the bad news.
So
not
close.
good.
So
And
close.
not good and not surprising. So, Battlefield 5. The first free DLC has been delayed at the last minute. Son of a bitch. So the real head scratcher out of this is not that it's being delayed, and announced late. It was supposed to launch tomorrow as of this recording, and this article was posted 5 hours ago. I mean, really last minute here. They said they found, well, it's an unspecified issue. That's in quotations. DICE said that on Twitter, that they found an unspecified issue with the first Tides of War content, Chapter 1 Overture. And as such, the release is being held back beyond its announced December 4th launch. DICE says, rather than create issues in the game, we're holding the update for the time being. The studio added that it will report back with an update as soon as possible, but for now, the developer says it does not anticipate a long delay. So no word on what it is, why it is, how it is, or when it is. We know nothing other than DICE fucking drops their ball again.
They found a problem and they pulled it, and they're not telling why. We'll probably never know. I appreciate them at least, saying that they're doing it, and instead of just tomorrow all of a sudden making the announcement just 2 minutes before the game is to release. But the day before is still pretty close to being shitty because
it's the content because
they should have known.
That should have been finalized already.
Exactly, they should have known. But I mean, like I said, we're not game developers. We don't know what their cycles and how stuff works, and whether this was some glitch they found. Some more testing was done and they found it and they were hoping to fix it before. Maybe they've been working on to fix it the last 2 weeks. Who knows? But yeah, they're not telling us, like, giving us more than just, oh, we found an issue and we're going to hold it off. That's it. That's a pretty shitty statement.
Well, and to me, that just kind of sounds like somebody put a deadline on, and it absolutely sounds like that to me. And the developers just couldn't make it happen. And whatever this was going to be, it's not ready.
Yeah, but you wouldn't think, though, that the whole DLC wouldn't have been, I don't know how to say it. Like, it would have been tested enough to know that there's whatever this issue is.
Right, and it's only a couple of weeks after the release of the game, too. So, like, this I figured with this, and many other people did as well, that this was developed alongside the game and not separately, and
Right.
that
It's just
this was just held back to give us a carrot to follow.
right. And that's what I figure as well. But either implementing it into the final release broke something or what. But yeah, it just seems like to find this big glaring issue like at the 0 hour seems really odd. But I mean, if it was the fact they knew they weren't going to have it ready, it was weird they waited this long to announce it. Like it's I don't know the reasoning if they knew this was broke 2 weeks ago and they were hoping to fix it, then that's why they waited so long to release it, or their fucking testing has just been that fucking lackluster that no one even knew it was broken until the day before. Like who
Well,
knows?
and
Well,
it's weird too because this is actually one of the most stable launches for the
yeah.
Battlefield franchise that I've played.
Well, Battlefield One
Like
was pretty good.
even the beta, yeah, Battlefield 1 was pretty much flawless on
Yeah.
release as
So I
far
mean,
as the
yeah.
state of the game.
So yeah, I mean, it's just weird that all of a sudden, like the 0 hour, they found this one glaring issue. So I wish they were a little more transparent. Like I don't expect them to release, like their code and all that other horseshit. I don't need to know everything,
No.
but just a little bit more information so that it doesn't feel like they're trying to pacify everybody so no one complains too much. Like, give us some fucking credit, you know?
Well, and it's weird because this DLC campaign, this is for single player and a new multiplayer map.
Right.
So it's not just one isolated thing either. And that's what's really strange to me is okay, so you found what could possibly be a glitch or a bug or something, but it's in both independent modes. I mean, I don't know. I don't buy when they just tell us they found an issue, and like that's the official. This is what's happening. Hey, we found an issue.
That's the
I
official
don't know.
statement. That seems, yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
fucking dice.
like I said, we're not the game developers, and we're not testers. We can't speak for that side of it. But on the other side of it, we're sitting here going, well, like, can we have a little bit more information? Like, can we get a little bit? Like, we don't need the whole, like, we don't need a 17-page fucking, release from you on why it doesn't work. Could you just be a little bit more specific? A little tiny bit was all we're asking for. Like,
Yeah, I don't. It confirms for me that
that
either the
fear.
testing, yeah, that fear of they're gonna fuck this up, and also because of all the DLC supposed to have been free for this, that they did give us a roadmap, but I remember very vividly, it wasn't that long ago that fucking Battlefront 2 released and was an absolute mess. Still doesn't have all the content that it should. Everything has been released at just a drip, and we're a year on, and like they just released their first major game mode expansion.
Yeah. But like,
So
yeah, I mean, like we've talked about that before, and I mean they're just falling back into it with this. So hopefully, this is only going to be the small little bump in the road, and things will
yeah.
be better from here on out.
Well, and Dice it has multiple studios. They're backed by EA, one of the biggest publishers in the world. I mean, there's not a shortage of resources.
No, shouldn't be.
I don't. There's just no reason that they can't develop properly for Battlefront 2 or for Battlefield. There's no reason they can't test properly, and there's no reason they can't communicate properly.
No, they definitely need to get their shit together. Like it's someone somewhere fucked up, and they don't want to tell us what happened.
I don't know.
Bastards.
We'll probably never know, but the end of the day question is, would we rather have them release broken content or delay it? And of course the answer is always going to be delay it.
Yeah.
But as you've said, just if it's clear and you communicate and keep us in the loop on what's going on and say literally this would have broken the game and we're figuring it out, it's just something, as you said, something to say, okay, obviously it was worthwhile to delay this. So I don't know. I guess we'll update
Yeah.
when we get more information. They said it won't be long, so hopefully they can stick to that.
Yeah. What's that mean?
I don't know.
Fuckers. God damn it.
Some more Bethesda bullshit coming up here. So
no. It's we can't rag on Bethesda about this.
Well, that's true. That's true.
we can only rag on the people that play their games now. This is
That's true.
this is, just keeps getting darker.
I retract that introduction to this topic.
Well, they're still assholes, but not particular to this one here. So the article's
Sure.
on The Verge, and I heard someone mention this to me when I was gaming the other day. Fallout is a franchise defined by its lawlessness. In the wasteland, nothing can stop, you from, succumbing to your worst tendencies. Blah blah blah, chaos, blah blah blah. So Fallout 76 supports up to 24 players per server, and these participants can talk, trade, and group up with one another. While the game does allow player versus player combat, the feature is an opt-in. So that was one thing I was worried about. Like, if people are playing this, they're just going to get shot and killed repeatedly. But apparently, if you don't want to fight other people, you don't have to. So that's good. However, that's not stopping players from following you around and bothering you, even if you don't actually want to engage with them. Especially given that Fallout 76 tells you where everyone is at any given time on the map. You can, however, turn off voice chat with your team. So, in other words, if people are walking up I think it's a radius, and you can communicate with people like most online games. So, in other words, you can turn that off so people can't just walk up and start yelling at you through your in-game chat. But a day after Fallout 76 launched, one player took to Twitter to share footage of a group harassing him. Through laughs, group members said they were targeting gays and that they were setting out to eliminate them. They continue to attack the player and they denounce queers. The clip has been watched over 16,000 times of this writing. And this article is from the end of November. So it's a couple days old, but still. So I haven't watched the video, but I had heard about it. And so initially the players in the clip were banned for only 3 days. But that punishment has been recalculated, and they're permanently banned.
Yep.
So that is a bravo. I kind of one of the people that fall into everybody is way too sensitive. The whole everybody's way too sensitive in this world is a big thorn in my side personally. But no one deserves to be playing an online game and to be attacked, whether you're gay or not. You don't run around and you don't scream homophobic slurs and troll people and attack them.
Well, and we're talking about hate speech and griefing.
Exactly.
It's not just, you tell a joke and somebody gets offended.
Right. Like I said, this goes above and beyond, calling someone too sensitive. Like I said, there's only so much that, falls into that category. And this definitely doesn't. This is true online just being a fucking piece of dog shit to another person. Because, whether they thought they were being funny, whether they thought this was the proper thing to do to troll, I don't know, because it doesn't say that they know the age of these players. It doesn't give any information on them, which no one will ever know really who they are, unless there's some footage from the video where someone can pull of who they are. But, some people take things too far as a joke, and could have been it. Or these could really be homophobic pieces of shit, and they deserve what they got. Either way, they deserve what they got, I should say. But
either way.
And
the thing that people don't grasp all the time, and I as well think that generally, I think people are probably a little too sensitive nowadays. But even so, the real crux of it for me is, and you in Canada, probably don't have to deal with the exact same thing, but people love our Constitution in the United States. And they love the freedom of speech, but what they don't understand is that you're not free from consequences.
Exactly.
And this is good on Bethesda for bringing the hammer down.
It definitely, I definitely, we can finally throw a little bit more applaud their way for handling this correctly. So
they can have this one.
Yeah, definitely. It sucks that people still feel the need to be like that, and attack somebody relentlessly online. But I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, this article is going to be linked in the description if someone wants to watch the video. I'm not going to watch it. So I mean, I'm not interested in seeing people act like that. But I mean, it's one thing to make a joke with your friends or somewhat in private, but you don't go attacking people online and saying that you're running around to work on eliminating gays. That's not fucking cool at all.
No.
So eat a dick.
Yeah, homophobe.
Yeah. I didn't mean literally. I meant figuratively. But hell, yeah, eat a dick.
No, but it works. The
Yeah,
irony there is sweet.
yeah.
All right, moving on here. So now I get to talk shit about Steam.
Yes,
And this is a rare thing, I think. Steam is generally pretty outstanding.
I agree. I
And
agree.
I love it. I think the ease of access to games, the incredible sales that we have all the time, just there's tons of things to love about Steam. One of the things that we're going to talk about today that I I don't see a reason to love, and this isn't even because necessarily I don't consider myself a fan of indie games. I generally don't play a lot of them. I generally don't enjoy some of the ones that I've played. Indie games to me, typically that tag comes with the expectation of, again, for me personally, inferior quality. It's an indie game to me most of the time means it's either going to be 2D, it's going to be a side scroller, it's going to be extremely limited, it's going to have, old fucking 8-bit graphics or whatever. Indie games are typically small, underdeveloped, and just not fun for me to play. Again, my opinion. Not saying they're all like that. Not saying everybody can agree, but that's my experience. So, even with that being said, these games are developed by people. These people have talents. They put work, dedication, time, and they put those talents to use to develop these games. Steam is now implementing a policy, and it's of course always evolving, and it has in many ways over the years. But they've changed their policy now to where they're not demanding as much money from games as part of like the revenue that comes in. Valve is no longer demanding that all developers give 30% of their revenue to them. And that's how it was. If you want to put your game on Steam, if you want to sell it there, Valve is going to take 30% just for hosting it. And that, again, was how it was. Now it's moving. So if a game makes, and this is directly from the article here, if a game makes $10 million, its developer now only has to toss up 25% of those earnings. If it makes even more and gets all the way up to $50 million, the developer of that game only owes Valve a 20% cut. So you get a higher discount the more that you sell. So this is like the Republican tax system in America. The
Multi-level
more money
marketing.
you make, the more money that you make, the less you have to give to somebody else. And it's so weird because with $50 million being like a bigger discount, the more that you make, and like obviously they don't need discounts if they're making $50 million.
No.
But inexplicably, they will get discounts of millions of dollars for making millions of, like, what? Anyways, the reason that indie developers are mad at this, and the reason that I am unhappy with this, is because $50 million as a goalpost to hit and get discounts is unachievable for the lion's share of developers out there. $50 million is a lot of money. Now, we're not talking God of War. We're not talking Red Dead or, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Fortnite. The major releases typically, hit millions of dollars in stride, and it's no problem. Some of them even reaching up close to $1 billion, over $1 billion. Gaming is hugely popular, and it makes a lot of money now more than ever. But for a small indie developer, it's nearly impossible for your game to sell $50 million. I mean, it's got to be a smash breakthrough, and that's to get a discount. So I would think instinctively and intuitively that you would want to kind of encourage people to want to get onto your platform. So if they're going to make $50 million, isn't that enough money already? Do they need a discount after $50 million in sales? I mean, I just don't think so. I think it should be backwards. It should be the opposite of that, to where you get a discount and don't have to pay that much because you're not making much. You know what I mean? So if I made a game and I sold, $1 million worth of money on there, Valve is going to take 30% of that, $300,000. But making $10 million, then they'd take only 25% of that, 2.5 million, whatever. If I made 50 million, they take 20% of that, so 10 million out of it. But when you make more money, you don't need those discounts because you're making more money. It's the little guys that are hurt by this new policy now. So the ones that are already struggling to turn a profit are having to give the largest percent back to Valve. And I just think that's bullshit.
And I agree 100% with why indie developers are pissed. And
Yeah.
to go back and touch off topic about your statement about indie games, I used to feel that way too about indie games, because a lot of the indie games, when they were first kind of, the indie game with title was put on stuff, they were a lot of those pixelated games. And I mean, some of those games are, they're like fucking well received. They do get lots of sales. They do have a huge following. And some of them are probably really good. I know a lot of them, I don't spend a lot of time on them. I've tried some indie games. There's some out there that I don't get. Some of them I've played and I was fucking blown away. So there's some indie games that are definitely worth time and money. There's some of them I've played that I've been shocked by how much I really like them. But back on this with the Steam thing, they need to structure it different per like level of developer. If they're an indie developer, they shouldn't be given 30% unless they make, there should be like a small percentage. Okay, you want to put your indie game on here, you're an indie developer, here, okay, you only have to give us 20% or 15%. But if your game is a smash hit after it sells $2 million, then we want blank percentage after everything over 2 million or whatever. Because an indie game, I think, in this article says developers might be lucky to stiff $1 million, let alone 10 million or more in the marketplace in an indie game. Because that's one of the biggest corners of Steam is indie. Because I mean, like, as long as you can make a game,
well, because
passes,
they're cheap, they're easily accessible.
Exactly. So that's a huge market. So, and the worst thing is it works against them because there's so many indie titles and they're so cheap that it's so hard to grasp and get a foothold in that market because it's flooded. So Steam just makes it that much harder for these people to actually continue on and make more games because they just lost so much percentage of their value or their money off their product. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They need to be fucking ashamed of themselves.
Yeah. So the little guys have to pay more, even though they're making less.
Exactly.
And you gotta wonder too, like with this in place now, they can't be making more money by getting a larger percentage from a smaller amount of sales. You know what I mean? So how many indie developers would they have to take 30% off just to reach, say, like $10 million? How many indie developers would that take versus one AAA developer that has their game on Steam and they make $100 million? That one game would cover the 30% from fucking probably 100 indie devs.
Some of them, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's crazy to me because they're subsidizing the games that are gonna be incredibly successful, and games should want to be played on Steam. Like, it's the most popular, easily accessible platform that we have. Everybody tries to emulate it. Discord itself, which we're using right now to talk to each other, is implementing a store, and we've talked about that and covered it. And it's to combat Steam. It's to try to get a foothold in that market. But Steam's not going anywhere. Anyway, so the reason that Steam is implementing this, as we're guessing, and as it says it's in this article, is that a lot of AAA developer games just kind of avoid Steam in a way, or they're released via their own launcher or through something else, such as Battle.net or Origin, something like that. So a lot of games are not available on Steam because they have their own platforms. So this is a way for Steam to try to coax them in to say, hey, we'll give you guys a bigger discount despite knowing that your game is going to sell millions of dollars. We'll take less on our end just to make sure that we can have your game on our platform. So I get that business aspect of it, but I think that they could have offered that incentive without penalizing the indie developers. I think that they make billions of dollars, and they don't. Again, do you need to smash the little guy when you're already billionaires? No. I just don't get this, man. Like, from a business perspective, part of this makes sense, but it's unnecessary to beat up the indie developers. And again, I'll reiterate, I'm not even a fan. I'm not defending them because I like a lot of the output. The majority of what I've played of indie games, I have not enjoyed. Even so, I don't like this move. I don't agree with it, and I don't know. Hopefully they'll think it through and change something out. I don't know.
So I just done a quick search, and this is revenue generated by game sales on Steam from 2014 to 2017
Uh,
is in the billions in US dollars.
yeah, yeah,
So man, that doesn't probably come back to exact profit to Steam. I'm not sure exactly how this is calculated out. But yeah, the revenue generated by game sales on Steam from 2014 to 2017 is in the billions, like 4.3
yeah,
billion dollars.
yep.
So yeah, like they're not fucking poor, but
No, and that's what I'm
the
saying. Yeah,
rich get richer, right?
yep,
And I mean, yeah, I no problem with them giving discounts to some of the bigger AAA titles to get them back on Steam, so they can, so they, not everyone's launching on their own launcher. We don't need 400 launchers on a computer. We don't need a launcher for every fucking
right.
game. But yeah, I get that they're like, okay, these guys are not wanting to give us 30% of their revenue, so let's give them, let's drop the revenue down a bit for them. Well, why don't you do it the other way, like you said, like if you want to put the game on Steam, boom, you only have to give us 15%. But if your game sells blank amount of money, you give us a little bit more. And if your game ends up selling on Steam, making you $100 million, then after that cutoff, then we want a little bit more money. I mean, I understand they don't want to go that way, but that's the only way that it's fair. Unless they're going to totally separate, like I said, AAA games give this blank amount no matter what the sales are, and indie developers pay this amount no matter what their fucking sales are. That's the only way to make it fair, and that's how it should be done. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe
Well,
I
and
just
again, looking at it though, if you have a massive amount of developers and you take a small cut from each of them, we're talking about the indie developers. For me, it doesn't make sense to try to squeeze every last dollar out of a game that's barely going to make anything. They're not going to benefit that much from 30% of a game that only sells $10,000 worth.
exactly.
A small indie game that's giving them nothing.
No,
When
and
they
then
make over 4 billion in revenue, the
it
game that sells 250 copies, they have to give 30% of their profits to
exactly.
Valve.
So
That's crazy.
that potentially could cause that guy to go, all right, I spent 2.5 years developing this game.
Yeah,
Blank and I spent my life savings. I took a
yeah,
bank loan out, put this game on Steam, and I sold. It sold really really well, but then I lose 30% of my money right off the top to Valve. Now I can't afford to make another game with another bank loan. I can barely pay that one off. So basically, I'm eating crackers, and I can't afford to play video games. Let alone make them. And that developer has to go back and start flipping burgers at McDonald's, and we don't get any more games from the guy. So they're potentially squashing the ability for these developers to eventually even make fucking games.
right. Those are the guys that need the help.
Exactly.
Those are the guys
And,
that need the
what'll
discounts.
happen is someone out there will say, like, let's say, one of these other companies that are trying to have their own launching stores, as in like what we said with Discord, and like Humble Bundle has, like, they're starting to do shit,
Yeah,
and
Humble's
like
awesome.
those are gonna be like, okay, let's do that. Let's take all the indie developers and let's only make them have to fucking give us 10% no matter what their fucking
Sure.
sales are. Where do you
Yeah,
think they're gonna go? And eventually someone's gonna make an indie only store, and that's where
sure.
everyone's gonna go, and Steam is going to lose that, even that small revenue stream. They're going to fuck themselves.
Yep.
So they getting fucking greedy. Gabe, you bastard, fuck off. So many fucking people on this podcast need to get fucking run over by a bus. It's not funny. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
God.
So yeah, that's where we're at with that. Steam fucking up. I don't like it.
No.
We'll finish off here because we're late now. We've got a lot of time.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh well.
But one final thing that we just found, pre-podcast actually, I stumbled on this because I saw a picture of Mads Mikkelsen. So Death Stranding, the game that's never going to release, possibly has a release date. This was kind of a weird way to leak this as well. So Jeff Keighley, I don't know if I'm saying that right, is talking about the Game Awards on Twitter, and how it's going to be world premiere land. There's a lot of games they won't be talking about at all until the show, and then he blasts by name on Twitter Walmart Canada, because they've been the culprit to several leaks over the years, and says they do have some great things to tease and announce in the week ahead. Somebody responded to that and posted a picture of a listing at Walmart Canada of Death Stranding, and it has a shipping date of June 30th, 2019. Walmart Canada then responds to this and to Jeff Keighley and says, "Hi, Yanob," that's the guy that tweeted in response. "As per the information stated for this item, this is a pre-order that will ship in June." So while Jeff Keighley is blasting Walmart Canada for leaking dates about games, they respond to that tweet, possibly confirming what the fucking release date is.
Because I can tell you, Walmart Canada ships games on release dates.
Yeah.
I have pre-ordered a game before, and yeah, they fucking don't ship until the release date. And well, I don't know. The June 30th. You said it's June 30th.
Yeah,
that's a Sunday, so no, that is not the right date. So if it ships in June, it won't be shipping on June 30th. That's a Sunday. I just pulled up the calendar on my computer. Yeah, that's
I don't know.
Yeah, that's too fucking funny.
But well, yeah. Right now that's the rumor, but that could be Walmart Canada. It doesn't sound like they're trolling. If they've got it listed, it's on their website as June 30th. Now what I'm thinking is this might be a placeholder.
Yeah, there's all. I mean, that's what people say. Oh, it's released in December 31st. No games released December 31st. No. You know, so it's likely a placeholder. It might have a June potential release date, but until the final date actually gets announced, I'd say Thursday night. Yeah, but that's fucking hilarious that they respond back after the shit they took before E3 when they put a like 2-page thing and were announcing a shitload of games that were even not even rumored to be coming, but Walmart Canada listed them all. They took some heat over that, but they've come out and just fucking throw that up there. That's too funny.
Yeah, throw it right back at them.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Oh, fuck. Walmart, you're funny.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm sure that something will be announced. Again, Death Stranding, I don't believe it'll ever release. I think this has all been just a cock tease. But maybe. We'll see. We'll confirm or maybe talk more about a rumor. Not next week because I will not be here unless you guys do it. Either way, maybe we'll keep our Twitter page active for updates. We'll figure something out to keep the news flowing regardless of me not being here. And the show will go on
in some form or another.
In some form, yes.
We'll keep you motherfuckers entertained.
All right, so that's gonna do it here for the podcast, and of course, everything that we've talked about will be listed in the description of the video and in SoundCloud because Panther's a wizard. I know I say that every time, but you always laugh, so I'm gonna keep doing
it. All
right. So, anyways, thanks guys for sticking with us, and we'll get the game of the week out to you guys as soon as we can at some point in the near future. And I'll catch you guys after I come back from vacation. So that's going to do it. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you later.